Agnes is a recognised expert in the field of digital transformation, with over a decade of international experience gained across several business sectors. She's worked for some major consultancies in her time, and currently she's responsible for executing strategic transformation initiatives at Lotte Weider. She's the author of the world's first digital transformation methodology, which is certified by APMG, the Digital Transformation Foundation. This positions her as one of the leaders setting development standards in this domain. Agnes actively contributes to building professional communities as the president of Singularity University at Krakow chapter, and she's the founder of the transformational team of the PMI Poland chapter. She serves as the academic director of the postgraduate program Modern Technologies and Digital Transformation at the Krakow School of Business, and also lectures at the EY Academy. Previously, she was affiliated with the ICANN Institute. Agnes is the creator of a proprietary organisational transformational audit model, which she's using as the basis of her PhD research, which integrates technological and human perspectives to develop a comprehensive change management approach. She's been recognised as a LinkedIn top voice in digital transformation and honoured with titles such as Strong Woman in IT, Sustainable Development Leader, and Futurist of the Year. She also puts her time into mentoring other people on various programs and is a passionate supporter in the development of women in tech and startups in Central and Eastern Europe. She is well known as a speaker at national and international conferences, inspiring leaders to consciously shape the future in times of rapid technological change. Welcome, Agnes.
Welcome. Hello.
How do you find time to fit in all of those things that you seem to do?
I do a lot of things with different topics because it's like you have a different perspective and also perspectives from the business and for my individual. So I do a lot of different things.
Yes. So how do you define digital transformation? Yeah, I hear the phrase and I've seen various definitions, but how would you define it? And more importantly, why is it so crucial for businesses today?
Yes, the digital transformations is some kind of comprehensive process that reshapes an organizations by, from the one hand, integrating modern technologies and fundamentally changing how the company operates in its culture, strategy, business model, and often its like operational structure. It's not just about the digitizing processes or automating functions, because some people think it's only about it, but it's a deliberate shift from traditional models to ones that leverage technology as a foundations for creating somehow new value for customers, employers, and stakeholders. And today, in today's unpredictable world with rapidly changing consumer expectations and technological some kind of advancements, maintaining the status quo is risky for the organizations. So digital transformations enables company to respond swiftly to changes and more importantly to initiate them. So it's a path to greater efficiency, innovations, or resilience. So from my side, importantly, digital transformations shouldn't be driven only by the IT department, because sometimes it looks like the only IT department is responsible for the digital transformations, but we are talking on the wider perspective in the organizations and in changing in the organizations. So it must be embedded in the organizational overall strategy. It's also need to be in the strategy, supported by the leaderships and understood by all employees in the organizations. It requires somehow a new leadership style, focus on empathy, agility, and continuous learning, because the technology change very extremely. So we have an exponential growing of technology. So it's naturally necessary to continuous learning. So this is from my side about the digital transformations in the organization.
Do you think, though, that it's beyond a lot of organizations. As you say, technology moves so quickly these days. The change is so vast. Most organizations could not afford to keep up with those changes. They could not afford to reinvent themselves so frequently. So do you see a world where we could be left with very small micro organizations where they are truly digital, truly transformed, but a handful of people, and the huge organizations where they can afford that investment, and organizations in the middle can no longer succeed?
Yes, I think the digital transformations is necessary already for all kinds of organizations, and it also depends because we have some organizations which are not all in the market and start in the digital maturity, digital natural technology in the organization. So it's easier for them to do digital transformation because it's like startups or this kind of organizations. The technology is naturally inside them, but we have also a lot of organizations which are longer on the market, like 30, 40 years. So they uh, remember the time where it was no laptops, it was no internet, it was no connections, it was not video conference. So it's really hard to move this kind of organizations into digital transformation because they have a lot of things to reinvent in the organizations, to build in another way in the organizations, because they processes sometimes are in the old way preparing, so they need to change a lot of things in the organizations, and digital transformations for them it's really important, because if they not change the current world, many things that are changing in the world could destroy their organizations, because they sometimes work in the silos, they sometimes don't have enough competences for the upskilling, for the technology, so they need to do a lot of work to be ready for now and also ready for the future.
So how did you come into this field? What's been your professional journey to arrive as, one of the thought leaders in the field of digital transformation? What was the inspiration to move into this area?
Yes, so from my side, it goes like some kind of natural journey, because I start working in the area of the project management. So I'm starting working with the management area, in the business area, in the sales support area. But in this situation, this time, it was like a lot of project was connected with the technology. So it was naturally connected with the technology. So I started in project management in the business area, and then this project management area goes more to the change management area, because we saw like in organizations that technology without people and without adoptions and without implementation, it's not really work in the organizations. We could buy everything, but it not works in the organizations, it not change processes and not have really impact of the organization's efficiency. So then it goes more in the change management area. So I start connect the project management area and the change management area. And over these times, I decided to join to the consulting firms to show how different organizations works. So I go to the Deloitte Digital, work with implementations of technology strategy, and then to the PwC, where I supported organizations in some kind aligning technology with their strategies. So it was this kind of connections, this technology, project management, and change management area, but with strategy. And it was like the first connections of the digital transformations, real digital transformations, which are not just operationality, but also like in building competitive advantages, like the changing cultures, creating like entirely new business model. So it was this time that I could work with different organizations on this digital transformations area with the different sectors. And these collaborations from one side with the business and the other hand with the consulting, it's connected me also with the in progress team when we decided, okay, but for digital transformation, it's not really methodology on the market. So it was this kind that we have a lot of courses that is about the examples of the digital transformations, how the organizations transform, but it was not like step by step what you could do by the digital transformation. So then I go deeply in the digital transformations to look for articles, to look for methodologies, how it looks like, and what is on the market. And we said, okay, but it's nothing on the market to step by step how to do this is in the organization. So then I will go deeply in this topic, in this digital transformations topic.
So when you were a consultant,
Yeah.
and you used to go into an organization, talk to the board of directors about digital transformation, what was the thing that surprised or upset you the most about their misconceptions, their misunderstanding of what they needed to achieve, what they needed to do to actually transform their organization? Was it around the technology or was it around the people?
Yes. So the first first misconceptions in thinking about the digital transformation is that it's not about implementing new technologies. So this is the first level that everybody somehow think about it, that digital transformations, because it's digital in the name and transformation, so it's only about the technology. So it's like this kind of level that, okay, we could buy some technology and it will work in our organizations. Yes, but it not works, and a lot of organizations already know about it, that it not really works and it not change organizations. It only have some kind of push on the cost, but it's not changing their organization's behavior. So it was the first things that is kind of misunderstanding about the digital transformations. Another is like that digital transformation is like the project. So we could plan it, we could implement it, and it's over. So we have some big program for 1 year, and it will be end and will be like the check and end all this project. And it's not really, because it's somehow ongoing process. This must be embedded somehow in the organization DNA, because we live in the revolutions and the technology change a lot. We have a lot of exponential technology. We saw how it changed, the AI example, how every month have something different, new things which could be implemented in our organizations. So it was like this kind of misunderstanding also, that it's only like the some part project implementation and we could end it and go to another project. But nowadays it's like the more on the process, more on the changing the culture, to changing the employees' behavior, to still learning, to upskilling, to reskilling, to find something innovation in the organization. So it's more on this part in the organizations. And third, which is very important to digital transformations and misunderstanding, that we need to have a lot of focus on the people and on the changing in the people, because the organizations have the different generations, and it's necessary to different going through these transformations in the organization. So without the right competences, some kind of culture collaborations and communications, even the best technologies won't deliver the expected results. So this part of change management, included in the digital transformations, is really important also in the digital transformation. And it's also some misunderstanding, because a lot of organizations think that it's only the IT department responsible and only about in the technology area.
I mean, you do quite a lot of work in universities and with communities. Do you think we will ever close that skills gap? Do you think we're doing enough to to develop people with the appropriate mindset, with the appropriate skills to really engage in business with a digital transformation agenda? Or do you think it's always going to be a problem finding enough people with the right skills?
I think it depends. It depends about which organizations and which leadership in organizations we are cooperate. Because if it's organizations which the leaderships like innovations, like technology, and put some prioritize for this area, it's not so hard to move the organizations and to find this kind of people. But if it's organizations which works in the old way, are managed by the leaderships which are not really like technology and like to work in the old way, it's really hard, because when we don't have right prioritize for the digital transformations, when it's not connected with the strategy, when it's not connected with the sponsors like CEO or on the board, it's really hard to implement it, because we're talking about the changing the culture, changing the processes, the business model, the operating model. So there are a lot of changes which are not on one department, but it's on the whole organizations. And also, this is very hard for the organizations to implement it, because it's hard to put the responsible in the organizations for the transformations, because like in a normal department, they are no department which are going through all these departments and have this kind of responsibilities, because the IT department have responsibilities for the IT technology stack, but not really changing the culture, not really thinking about the business model. So the Gartner has great model that is the three pillars about the building the organizations for the future. And the third part of this model is the transform. So the organizations need to have this transform part in the organizations, and people who is responsible for this in the organizations.
So your collaboration with In Progress to develop a digital transformation certification, what are the key aspects that it covers?
Yes. So this digital transformation foundation certification is like the guide that enables participants like going to step by step through digital transformations from the beginning, how to think about the digital transformations, how to connect it with the strategy, and going through to the implementation stage in the organization. So it's like the guide for the people how to manage them in the organizations, but also it's about the competencies, what is needed in the organizations to be really prepared for the digital transformations. It could be in the organizations, it could be like the buying from the market, like outsourcing, but what is necessary to do good digital transformations and to have all the pieces connected to prepare all the picture with the digital transformations. So this is kind of guide how to going through the digital transformations in organizations, but also from the other hand, it's for the project managers, for the change managers, for the business analytics who want to be in this more strategic role, in this more developing their career in the digital transformations, because it's like the first certifications which are really connected about, okay, so which competences I need to develop to be in this role. And also it's important that the digital transformation specialist, it was in the top 10 jobs from the World Economics Forum, like the best jobs for the future. So it's also important because it looks like that it's the jobs for the future. So learning these competences, it will be good for the future, for the some kind of upskilling for the future market.
So what emerging technologies do you see? I mean, you're recognized as a futurist. So should I be worried about the future or should I be excited about the future? I mean, that's one question for you. But what emerging technologies do you see are going to have the biggest impact on businesses undergoing a digital transformation?
Yes. So from my side, the digital transformations in organizations, it's always complex, involving the integrations of multiplied technologies. So it's not about only one technology is implemented in the organizations, but we are talking about some connected technologies which are helping changing organizations and changing the culture, or building new market, or building new business value for the it's also depending on the organizations, about the organization's maturity, strategy, or on which sector they are working. Because when you have the productions companies, it's more about the IoT, edge solutions, AI solutions. So it depends what kind of companies are working already. But from my side, very interesting things which are somehow new on the market is that the AI agents, and also the quote from the Satya Nadella, from the CEO of Microsoft, who said that AI agents will operate on the data directly, not using the application. And it could somehow change how the organizations work, because already we thinking about the organizations that we have some kind of data sets, we have some kind of applications, and people use these applications. And when we are thinking about the AI agents without these applications, and when it's talking about it, the guys which manage the main organizations which prepare these applications for every company, it changed a lot how the organizations will looks like. And it's also very important if it will have a big impact in the business, because already we don't really know how it will have big impact in the market. But if it will have big impact and changing how the organizations work, so it will be necessary to have a good data sets in the organizations, and to good AI agents to work on this data set. And the organizations which will be prepared for this will have a good data governance, good data area in the organizations, could have a big impact in the market, and have some business value, different business value than others companies, because the AI works every day, every night. So it's like on the cost efficiency also really good versus employees. So it could be it could have a good impact for the business market, for the business value for the future.
But people have been saying that for a long time. I can remember reading Alvin Toffler's Future Shock when I was at school, and that was talking about the leisure society and technology transforming the way we work. People have been forecasting that for an awful long time, but we don't seem to be any closer to having a leisure society. Indeed, I think knowledge workers are working longer these days than they used to. So is it really a utopia that we're looking at in terms of digital transformation and the way people work, or is it just more of the same?
I think it depends.
Now that sounds like a PhD research to me. Yeah, it depends. More research is needed.
Yes, it's like the consultancy. It depends.
It depends. Absolutely.
Yes. So from my side, I think it depends, and it depends how big organizations will going in the technology, and how it could have impact on the middle business and also in the small business, because it could have big impact that some sectors will die, or we don't have some kind of companies. But it could not be so fast, and this change could be not really really now. So I think it depends how it will look like, but nowadays we have a lot of exponential technology, we have a lot of organizations, and also the time organizations spending on the market is shorter than previous. So I think it could change a lot in, I think, 5-10 years, how it will looks like, the market, how it looks like, because also people need to learn how to use the technology. Some technology goes naturally, like iPhones, using internet, but it also have some time to use it in the organizations, in the natural business. But we will see how it change, and how these connections also with the people and with technology will be looks in the future, because it's also very interesting how to build the future-proof organizations connected and using the AI agents. Where is these connections? Where is necessary to this people human centric approach, and where and how to use these AI agents, AI in the organizations, and how to build the operating model, how to build the business model, how to integrate it in the future organization.
But do you think society can afford that change? I mean, I've read stories in the UK where we got car factories that,
Hmm.
you know, maybe 20 years ago would have employed 10,000 people on a production line. And today there's maybe 10 people in a control center. So, how is society going to cope with this automation, the integration between businesses, AI agents doing most of the work? What do the people do, and how does society afford to finance those people, because so they can buy the products that come out of the digitally enabled factories?
Yes, I think it's the great questions, and a lot of people thinking about it, because we saw a lot of changes, like you said, that's in the productions line, in this in this area, when it was a lot of things that could be uh, changing by the technology, by the automations, by the robotics, and it's easier to manage them, it's cheaper. So in all this kind of area, it will be a big problem for the, I think, society, or society, because we need to manage this kind of people what to do. And also we have, on the other hand, that the people which are not working, they have some kind of mental problem with their behavior, with their value, because we are somehow working or living in the time that you are working, and it's some connected with your value about your person, because you are working in the company. A lot of people are really connected with the companies also in the production. So it will be from one hand, it will be a big challenge for the world and for the organizations, how to manage them, how to build the better world. But from the other hand, it's like the river, so you couldn't stop the river. It's like the technology, it's like exponential growing, so it will be totally hard to stop it, because it's cheaper, because it's easier. And when we have the business area and organizations which need to earn money, so it's naturally that they are going in this way. And also, from the other hand, it's hard to manage them in the global perspective, because we have different countries, and we have a market, different markets, and different cooperations, and also with different, I don't have these words, like competition. Oh yeah. So it's hard, because we have the competitive market. So it's not like in Poland we said, okay, we will not do a lot of technology, because we are thinking about the people and they need to work, and we manage them, because it will be not cost effective and for on the global market. So it's hard to manage them on the global side. So we couldn't know already where it ends and how it will looks like, but it's some kind of part which needs to be managed, but from who manage, because it's hard to have the responsible for all this change, like the whole world. And I think it's some kind that because in the previous revolutions it was this same, but not in this wider perspective, because we have the production revolutions also when we start to produce the car, but it was more about the using some products widely in the country. But now we have this kind of situations that it's the same part of the products, but we need not a lot, not a lot of people for produce it. So yeah, it could have big impact for everybody, but also it's important to always looking for some kind of competencies that will be needed in the market, because from the one side is that some areas, some jobs will not be in the future, like a translator, because already we have 1 or 2 weeks ago we saw from the Google translator, which are ongoing for the conversations translate. So the learning language, it will be not like the extra value for the people, because we could connect it normally by using the technology. So it's changed a lot of language learning schools. But from the other hand, it's a lot of new jobs in the market, and new jobs needed for the using this technology, for the implementing this technology. Because also when we are looking on the AI, we saw that we need to do the prompt engineering, we need to like the cloud engineers who build this, the people who build the algorithm to train the algorithms. So it's a lot of new jobs which are on the markets already rising, but a lot of jobs will end in the future.
So if you were advising, I don't know what the right age is, but let's say teenagers today, would your advice be to consider a technology a science future, or would it be to consider a human social science future? So because in time, I think the technology will self-create the technology. But as long as humans are involved, that human interaction, the ability to do human things, which will never be done by the machines. So if you were advising a teenager today, would you say, go down a technology career, or would you say go down a social science career?
So from my side, both. It depends. Yes, but from the one hand, it's necessary to understand how the technology works, how the technology could help our works, and how the technology could be connected with our life, how to use it. So it's necessary to somehow understand how it will looks like and how it works. But from the other hand, like you said, the area of the human-centric approach, creativity, to empathy, all the things connected with the people and people behavior, and this part which are not really easier to copy by the technology, I think is also important. So connection do these two parts, because only connections with the technology could be some kind destroyed, and it's really hard to be really on the time, because the technology changed a lot. It's a lot of different technology. It's not like the previous that it was like one technology and you could learn it. So it's a lot of different technology, and we don't really know which technology will have the biggest impact on our life. It could be quantum computing, which could have impact and changing our business in like 5-10 years. We don't really know which technology change a lot, but we know that all these things with the human approach and human centric are already necessary. So connection these two, how to build this part with the empathy and human, but also understanding the technology, how to connect it, how to build it, because it also could have some good connections to improve.
So there is a future for the human race.
Yes, hope so.
And I'm glad you said yes and not it depends. Agnieszka, many, many thanks for your time. It's fascinating talking to you and getting an insight into what you're thinking and what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.